All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Today I wanted to take a dive into something that I've been looking at for a long time now. You know, in this industry that you're currently looking at, the beef industry, and by no means am I an expert on this, but I wanted to dive into it because I've seen some videos on it and I thought to myself, man, that is wild. What if we are eating 3D printed meat? Have any of you ever thought about this? Like, are you really eating real meat or is it made elsewhere? So let's see this video right here. And then we're gonna check out some other stuff. But let's go with this one first. It is wild to me that we have gotten to a level where we can 3D print weapons, we can 3D print houses, we can 3D print, as you see, some meat products. Here we go.
Your steak could soon be 3D printed. That's if you live in Europe. Israeli company Redefine Meat has struck a partnership with importer Geraldi Meats to drive European distribution of its new meat steak cuts. The startup is hoping to establish its products as an alternative to conventionally produced meat. Redefine Meat operates large-scale meat printers at its Rehovot headquarters south of Tel Aviv, as well as in a new factory in the Netherlands. Manager of the company's 3D printers project, Yaron Eshel, explains how it works.
When I want to create my steak, I have a library of a few different slabs. I can choose each one of them and I can adjust it accordingly. I can define the amount of marbling, the internal fat or the external fat. And now I can start and go and print it and produce it. So I'm putting it, this is my queue, this is my timeline for today. I know.
That is amazing to me that we have. What do you think, Walt? What do you think? I know you're in here. What do you think about this? Would you eat a 3D printed steak? I mean, this is a bad boy. It's a big one.
An hour or something from now, I will
look at that, 100%.
The machine with new material. But now
a
I can go
redefinition
directly
of
into the
meat.
printing process, and you can see how the process starts to build layer by layer.
The company makes its products from ingredients including soy and pea proteins, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeasts, and coconut fat. Co-founder and chief executive Eshtar Ben Shitrit said Redefine Meat was launching tenderloin and strip loin steaks.
In the past 2 years, we have been working deeply on understanding meat and what makes meat so exciting. And we identified a few components that we can
Good morning, Common Sense. Thank you for being here. Would you eat 3D printed meat? That is the question of the day, the question of the morning. Would you eat the 3D printed meat? How many of you would really dive that far, or how many of us are already doing this without knowledge? Like I saw somebody post something, I think on TikTok or something, and they were saying McDonald's says over a billion people served a day. Um, is there that many cows in the world? You know what I mean? So where's the beef coming from? So let's continue on. Let's see what he has to say about this.
Create from plants and have the same exact performance as the tissue of animal meat, giving you, with the combination of additive manufacturing, the exact feeling you experience a good steak, a good cut of meat coming from an animal without the use of the animal.
Plant-based meat alternatives have become increasingly popular in recent years. Spanish startup Nova Meat is also using 3D printing technology to manufacture vegetarian steaks. But the early hype about plant-based meat alternatives has ebbed, as inflation and recession worries have driven some customers back to cheaper animal meat products. Companies such as US-based Beyond Meat have cut their sales outlooks. Redefine Meat, however, has big ambitions. Its new meat is currently available in Israel, Britain, the Netherlands, and Germany. Almost 1,000 restaurants are currently paying about $40 per £2 for its steak cuts. The company plans to launch its products at restaurants.
That is crazy because look at the meat. It's searing up. It looks like fat is dripping off of it. I mean, it's almost like it's real deal, but you have to ask yourself, man, am I eating the real deal or is this fabricated in a lab? We have reached that point in life where we really have to question just about everything regarding our food, our vegetables, and even the things that we see before our eyes. This is amazing as far as technology, but I don't know. Once again, chat, would you eat that piece of steak right there that's searing on that grill?
Restaurants and butchers in France, then in Italy, Greece, and Sweden later this year, and in dozens more countries in 2023.
We see a world in a decade from now that new meat or meat made from plants is a big part of the meat industry. It replaces a lot of the meat that people consume today that is bad for the environment and bad for the most of the people in the supply chain. I still believe that people will consume high quality meat forever coming from animals, and these two industries will live side by side. Even when we will become 1%, 2%, and the industry will become 10% of the meat industry, the impact on the planet is so big that it's worthwhile to pursue it in the next decade.
The more you know. Let me pull up another video. This is interesting to me. It really is. Because there's so many. It says 3D printed plant-based steak is here. Let's see what this steak looks. I've been looking at this, man, for a while now, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna show this because I want to see what. Whoa, I want to see what people think about this. Here it is. Here we go. Does that not look like a steak that you would get out of the grocery store? Of course it does. And would you know any different if somebody told you, hey, that's 3D printed? Nah, there's no way. Or you might know now, right? Wow. And you know, as a country, I can't speak for anybody overseas, but as a country over here, we are a lot of beef eating people, man. And here's another one, KFC was accused of doing lab meat to their people, their consumers. Here we go.
Would you eat your favorite takeaway if it was made in a laboratory? The thought of 3D printed nuggets might not sound appetizing, but scientists say you won't be able to taste the difference.
There's only one Kentucky Fried Chicken, always cooked fresh, with Colonel Sanders' original secret recipe of 11 different herbs and spices.
Until now. For in this Russian lab, your next tasty KFC meal is being prepared. Just finishing off some seafood for another customer first. This one is a squid. Yes, KFC has partnered with Russian scientists to develop lab-made chicken nuggets.
Shut up and take my money.
Chicken nuggets, bro. Chicken nugget, the kind your kids love, the kind that many people love, with those special sauces and dipping and everything that goes along with that. They're being created in a Russian lab. In a Russian lab. What the hell? What the hell? I ask you, what the hell is going on with the chicken nugget? What the hell is going on with the quarter pounder patty?
Hot on the heels of fake meat, now comes a plethora of pantry palatables.
Spinach, broccoli, chicken, salmon, kind of just runs the gamut. We were experimenting with a lot of new ingredients as well.
Welcome to the future.
Your printable food comes safely packaged in cartridges.
Finger licking good.
I face a laboratory and a kitchen, as long as it's clean.
Wouldn't put you off?
No.
Simply take some cells from a real chicken, multiply them in the lab into a paste, and gently place that into a printer, similar to the one in your home office. Turn that paste into sheets, and layer upon layer, turn those sheets into cubes. Presto! You've got chicken nuggets.
I'm gonna go get some KFC nuggets.
Is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? Wow, I'm mind blown right now. I really am. This is too cool, but yet it's scary at the same time. It's like, are you really eating something that tastes like it? Is it something that you will be able to tell the difference about? Or is it something that, tastes better than the original? Hell, you don't know if it tastes better than the original chicken,
Stand around a KFC long enough like I did today, and you'll learn.
Would you eat them if they were made in a lab?
Yeah.
I don't see why not, no.
People aren't put off by it.
Yeah, I would.
If they tasted the same, what's the difference?
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't be able to tell.
Personally, I'd probably prefer.
Well, Joanna, I'm guessing you've never had one of those.
No, I haven't.
Joanna McMillan is a nutritional scientist.
Why are we making food in a lab now?
Well, we have two big problems. One is environmental and sustainability kind of issues. And the second is creating enough meat to feed the world's growing population.
Would there be nutritional value in something that's made in a lab?
Well, no, there's not. And that's what's a little frustrating for me, is why don't we think about recreating meat in the lab, but also make it healthier? And that's what's not happening.
There's no substitute for real chicken.
Adam Stratton is a proud old-fashioned butcher. You remember the ones who used to cut up, not create, meat.
There'd be a difference in texture, the taste, and, like natural, how can you go past?
I don't know. It is a huge debate, and it's certainly going to continue to increase, because you know what? Many people want the taste. They want the herb, the spices, the taste of the spices going into the meat. I don't really think many people give much inkling to the meat product itself, more or less than the spices. Like, you eat beef, they tell you protein. red meat, good source. They tell you chicken, good source of protein. Okay, so you're gonna go out and you're gonna buy these 3D flavored chicken breasts. Are you gonna really look for the taste of the chicken or the meat, or are you gonna create your own flavor that you're used to creating? That's the question. So probably you will eat this stuff. I know I would if I didn't know the difference.
Natural products.
He won't be finger licking, and I also suspect an old colonel might be turning in his grave.
Good chicken.
Next, they'll be telling us those yummy crab sticks aren't. Oh, hold on a second.
Whether or not they make it in the lab or not doesn't bother me.
You'd still eat it.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think? Would you eat a printed nugget? Let us know in our Facebook poll. So far, just
I guess I will start a poll. That way, anybody watching this on replay, well, I can't do it on this one. But let me put the question in there. Would you eat any 3D printed meat or chicken? No. We got a no right off the bat. No, no, no. That is wild, huh? That is wild. Let's see what else is printed. Here's something about, oh man, there's so much. It makes you wonder if we're not already eating this stuff. It makes you wonder because there's so much. Watch. Let's check out some more.
Could your next meal come out of a 3D printer? No chef, no kitchen, just a machine and some digital magic. Today, we're diving into the wild and tasty world of 3D printed food. It's real, and it's happening faster than you think. Let's break down how it works, what's already possible, and what the future might taste like.
Look at that. Look at that. If you told me that was 3D printed, I wouldn't know the difference. I really would. I'd be like, okay, let's see what it tastes like.
So, how does 3D food printing actually work? At its core, it's about creating food layer by layer.
So the question that I have, and I'm going to keep playing this, but thank you so much for y'all that are here. The question that I have, are we going to be able to have our own printers to print this at home? Like we just buy the materials and then we go home, mix it up and make our own meat, make our own chicken. Because you know how we can make our own coffee, we can make our own sandwiches, we can make our own renditions of multitudes of different things. Will we be able to one day make our own 3D food?
Kind of like how a regular 3D printer works, but with edible ingredients. One of the most common methods is extrusion. This technique works a lot like a super precise piping bag. Soft or pureed ingredients, like chocolate, mashed vegetables, dough, or even cheese, are pushed through a nozzle and deposited in layers to form shapes, patterns, or even full dishes. Another method is binder jetting. In this case, food powders, like sugar, flour, or starch, are selectively combined with a liquid binder, such as water or oil, to create solid edible structures. This method is particularly useful for creating delicate textures or detailed designs, especially sweets and snacks. And there's also an indirect but creative use of additive manufacturing, printing custom molds. Some chefs and food designers use 3D printers to create silicone or plastic molds into which they pour traditional ingredients like mousse, jelly, or chocolate.
Wow. So I'm telling you, how many of you are going to be able to do this? Are you going to question your food? Are you going to question what it is that you're ingesting? Or are you going to be okay with just, It's all good. Or are they going to tell us, hey, this is made 3D? Is it going to be something that's going to have to be mandated where they tell you this is real beef versus 3D beef menu? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, I don't think will really care, but there's some that are going to say, I'm not eating that stuff. We got to know in the chat. We got to know in the chat. So I know this individual is not eating that 3D stuff.
"3D food printing isn't just a lab experiment, it's already being used in some pretty cool ways. In the pasta world, Barilla and Blue Rhapsody have explored using 3D printers to create pasta shapes that are impossible to make by hand or with traditional molds. Think intricate spirals, logo-shaped pasta, or personalized designs made just for you. Then there are companies like Biflow and Food Inc. These innovators are working with chefs to create high-end dining experiences where every course is printed or enhanced with 3D printed elements. Everything from appetizers to edible garnishes, and even printed tableware. The Sugar Lab, meanwhile, uses binder jetting to create sugar cubes with original shapes and colors, taking creativity in the culinary world to the next level. This technology is already making a difference in healthcare. 3D printed food is helping people with dysphagia, a condition that makes swallowing difficult. By printing soft foods into familiar shapes, it makes meals both safer and more dignified for patients.
Okay, see, I'm good with that because I have some elderly parents and I know some people that have dentures or, you know, they have problems eating hard food, right? So if this can help them eat a lot more beneficial, then I'm all for it. If they're willing to eat that, I'm all for it. You know, there is positives. We have to look at these things, but is the nutritional value the same? That is another huge question we are asking.
So, is this something you could actually use in your kitchen? Technically, yes. Consumer 3D food printers are available, starting at around $4,000 to $6,000. They mainly handle soft foods like purees, doughs, or pastes, and are ideal for pastry chefs, caterers, or food artists. Restaurants and culinary schools are already adopting them to create unique presentations, logos on edible surfaces, or customized desserts. In the near future, we could see compact, affordable models for home use. Imagine printing custom pancakes with your name on them for breakfast.
Wow, I called it. I called it. And I haven't watched this already, so don't think I have. Think about that. Think about that. You know, you instead of the air fryer, you're gonna go and buy you a 3D food printer. Any of you in the chat or maybe on replay, any of you think you might invest in anything like this? Let me know.
The future of 3D food printing goes way beyond novelty. It has the potential to address real global challenges. For starters, it could play a huge role in reducing food waste, which means you can repurpose surplus produce or food scraps into entirely new creations. There's also a lot of promise in...
Okay, so we're going to be scraping the food that people don't eat off the plates and regenerating them into something else. That was disgusting.
Personalized nutrition. Imagine a printer that could prepare meals tailored to your exact dietary needs, whether you're managing allergies, training for a marathon, or just trying to eat healthier.
See, I could go into that. I could dig that, really. I could. Because you know what? Instead of hiring a nutritionist, you got your 3D printer that's going to print out the meals with the exact nutrients you need in order to be a better person, to lose weight, to be healthy, to repair muscle tissue, whatever it might be that you might need. I'm for that. I'm for that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm for that.
In short, 3D printed food is no longer just a fun idea for foodies and tech nerds. It's on track to revolutionize how we eat, cook, and even think about food.
All right, all right, all right. Man, this is something else. This is something else. Let's go one more and then I'll take some questions. Here is how your favorite foods are created in a factory. Because all this stuff is being created, and many people they just don't want to know. They want to stay in the they don't want to be in the know. They want to stay hidden from the truth as far as certain things. Here is how your favorite foods are made in a factory. Here we go.
Imagine waking up to a fresh 3D printed breakfast. No cooking, no prep, just ready to eat. Like your coffee maker, but way cooler. Sounds like sci-fi, right? Well, it's real. 3D food printing is here, and it's already changing the way we eat. But how does it actually work? Let's take a trip across the globe, from high-tech labs in the Netherlands to pasta-making robots in Italy, and even into outer space to find out how 3D food printing works. The race for new ways to produce food is heating up, and 3D food printing is leading the charge. This isn't just about making cool-looking snacks. It's the only tech that can turn digital designs into actual edible meals. Yeah, we're literally printing food. 3D food printers work just like regular 3D printers, layer by layer, using a design file that tells them exactly what to create. First, the ingredients are prepped and pureed into a pasta using mixers or blenders, depending on the food type.
See, I'm not good enough in the kitchen like that to be mixing and matching certain things. I guess if they came with a recipe, I could do it. But I don't know about you guys in the chat or anybody that's watching. Are y'all good enough in the kitchen to be able to mix this stuff good enough to be edible?
Think mashed vegetables, doughs, or protein-rich blends. Additives like gelling agents or thickeners, such as agar, pectin, or xanthan gum, are sometimes mixed in to get the texture just right for printing. Then the printer loads up the file and gets to work, squeezing out the food through a nozzle and shaping it with insane precision. But not all food prints the same way. Some foods like dough or puree print smoothly and are ready to eat right away. But others like cheese or melted chocolate come out in liquid form and need to be cooled or set before they're good to go. That's why food tech experts keep an eye on the process, tweaking settings to make sure every bite comes
Said chocolate. How many chocolate foodies we got in here?
out just right. Recently, researchers have begun to incorporate the use of lasers into the 3D printing machines to essentially cook the ingredients as they're being made. One of the most mind-blowing developments is how some printers now handle multi-ingredient meals. Imagine printing a cheeseburger where the bun, patty, and sauce are each deposited in perfect order, cooked or cooled at just the right moment, all without a frying pan in sight. It's like having a digital chef with robotic precision and zero burnout. Even crazier, some experimental printers can read biometric data, like your age, weight, or even vitamin deficiencies, and adjust the meals as it prints to fit your exact needs. Now, if you're wondering,
I don't know. The more I'm listening to this, the more it might be beneficial. I don't know. At first, like in the very beginning, I thought, hell no, there's no way. But the more I'm listening to this, it's kind of convincing me. I don't know about you in the chat. Anybody being more convinced than you were in the very beginning? Let me know.
does 3D printed food taste weird? The answer is no. It's made with the same ingredients as regular food, just shaped in a way that's impossible by hand. The difference isn't in the flavor, it's in the precision, the texture, and how insanely detailed these edible creations can be. History of 3D printing food. As you might know, 3D printing isn't new. Engineers have been using it for decades. Back in the 90s, scientists at Wake Forest Institute printed human organ tissues. Yes, human tissue. And NASA has been printing rocket parts since the early 2000s. But here's the twist. Until recently, no one thought about using it to print food. Now, chefs are jumping on the tech, eager to see just how far they can push the limits of edible creativity. This isn't just cooking, it's personalized edible engineering. 3D food printing lets chefs get wildly creative, whipping up designs that would be nearly impossible to make by hand. It also means food can be customized down to the tiniest detail.
Well, AI at its finest, right? Artificial intelligence.
Perfect for picky eaters, kids who hate certain textures, or even people with special dietary needs. Besides being fun and creative, it's practical. 3D food printing slashes prep time, cuts down on waste by using only the exact ingredients needed, and guarantees every plate looks identical. No more struggling to get the same swirl of chocolate or the perfect drizzle of sauce. Just precision every single time. That's a game changer for high-end restaurants and mass food production alike. But how does it actually work? Real-world applications. Traditional food production has its problems. Just ask any restaurant owner. Tons of waste, high cost, and a growing demand for meals that cater to specific diets. And all that wasted food? It ends up in landfills, releasing methane, a greenhouse gas even worse than carbon dioxide. So, finding a smarter way to make food isn't just trendy, it's necessary. With AI and data-driven nutrition plans for individuals, 3D food printing could change the game. We can print custom meals at scale without the waste or inefficiency.
I mean, like right now, when it's cold, you can't go out very far to get certain food that you enjoy. You know, you got a 3D printer, go print you up a couple burgers and fries. Are you really going to say, hey, I just 3D printed this? Oh no, you're going to be like, damn, this food is good. At least I would be. I'm almost convinced. Investigatively, I'm almost convinced of this. And I'm not easily convinced of stuff, but this almost has me convinced.
Efficiency of traditional methods. Traditional food-producing factories are designed for mass production, not flexibility. Imagine a world where every meal is tailored exactly to your body's needs. 3D food printing could make that a reality. Big companies are already jumping on the 3D food printing trend. Take Cadbury, for example. Instead of spending a fortune designing new chocolate shapes,
Okay, I don't like those Cadbury eggs. I don't know if there's any of you in this chat that are going to watch this in the future that love those things. Those things are disgusting. Ugh, those Cadbury eggs are disgusting in my mind. Okay, they're just disgusting. Other chocolate by Cadbury, I can handle that. But the eggs, they gotta go.
the old-fashioned way, they use custom-made 3D printers to create molds and prototypes. That means crazier, more intricate designs and faster, cheaper production. Basically, they're hacking the system. And it's not just desserts. The Italian pasta giant Barilla teamed up with Dutch researchers to develop a 3D printer that can create insanely detailed pasta shapes, designs that would be impossible to make at scale using traditional methods. Picture a bowl of pasta shaped like your initials or a company logo. Yeah, that's where this is going. Over in the Netherlands, 3D printing isn't just for show, it's solving real-world problems. Researchers figured out a way to 3D print carrots, not for fun, but to help elderly people who struggle to chew. Instead of serving them a sad, mushy baby food puree.
Okay, look at those carrots. If you didn't know better, would you even care that, would you eat those if you were hungry? I'm sure I would. I don't know. I'm slowly changing my mind on this, and see how the more you're exposed to something, the more it is accepted. I mean, there's some of you that are still like, hell no! No way, 12. There's no way I would be doing that. But I'm open to try it. Now, if it tasted like garbage, then I'd pull back and go back to the original thoughts. Would you eat these carrots, y'all?
They blend fresh carrots with a gelling agent, print them into realistic carrot shapes, and boom! Soft, chewable, and looking like the real thing. They've done the same with peas and broccoli, too. And if you think 3D food printing is just an Earth thing, think again. NASA's all over this. They're already 3D printing food as a way to feed astronauts on deep space missions. Astronauts are now printing a fresh, customized meal on a spaceship instead of eating the same dehydrated packets for months. In fact, they're already working on 3D printed pizza for space travel. Sci-fi is becoming reality. At this point, it's pretty clear. 3D food printing isn't just
Stay away from the Italian food. Stay away from the Italian food. That is my stuff right there. Stay away from the Italian food. All this other stuff I can live without, but the Italian food, the pasta, the pizza, all that stuff, I mean, stay away from it, bro.
some gimmick. It's reshaping the way we create, customize, and even think about food. From high-end restaurants to retirement homes, space missions, and your future kitchen. This tech is changing the game. And the best part? We're only scratching the surface. We're not just talking about cool designs or making life easier for chefs. 3D printing could tackle some of the biggest food challenges we face today. Personalized nutrition, cutting down food waste, even feeding people in remote areas. It's all on the table. So the real question is, how long before this becomes part of your kitchen? For more videos like this explanation,
Okay, that's kind of the last one that I wanted to show on that. I want to just talk a little bit about this because we've seen how it's done, how it's created, and the way it looks after it is finished. You know, it's interesting to me how easily it spreads across and how evenly it spreads across without much congestive. You know, sometimes when you're printing, the paper gets jammed, your ink doesn't flow equally. I mean, do they have the same type problems with the 3D printing? I mean, I've seen them 3D print houses. You know what I mean? And that might be another video for another time, but let me know what you think. Let me know about the 3D meat or the 3D chicken or the 3D areas that I've put on the panel today. Let me know. Let me know what you think. I know we've had some comments in the chat, but if you change your mind, let me know what you would think about this 3D stuff. Once again, for the investigative portion of my channel, my name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. Deep diving into the topics to let you know more about it, to make a comprehensive, detailed thought process for yourself. Till next time, Maestro, cue that music. Y'all be safe out there and keep coming back for more.